Welcome back to yet another session of Learning Simplified. So, this is a series of sessions which will highlight the great Bangladesh Bank heist, an audacious attack on the Bangladesh Central Bank, which happened sometime way back in 2016. So, in this first session, we will understand the plan, what exactly the hacksters were after, and a little bit of background about the incident. So Bangladesh Bank, which is the Central Bank of Bangladesh, they have their Nostro account with the Federal Reserve Bank, and on that day in 2016, they had over a billion USD in their Nostro account. So obviously, they will have that much money as they need to settle international transactions. So on that fateful night, hacksters logged into the Swift servers of Bangladesh Bank and then sent some messages, Swift messages to the Federal Reserve Bank to transfer all these 1 billion USDs into multiple tranches to accounts they had created in Sri Lanka and in the Philippines. So that was on Thursday, 4th Feb 2016. So to understand their plan better, we need to know how the SWIFT system works. The SWIFT is a society for worldwide interbank financial telecommunication, and this is how it works. So let's assume that you have some customer accounts in Bangladesh Bank and you want to transfer to a beneficiary in some other bank, let's say a bank in Sri Lanka. So what you do is that you would instruct as a customer to Bangladesh Bank to do a payment transfer through SWIFT. Bangladesh Bank then sends a SWIFT message to the US Federal Reserve instructing that their Vostro account, their actual account, be debited, and then it has to credit the beneficiary. Now, since the beneficiary is not belonging to Federal Reserve but to some other bank, it will go through a payment change through some other bank. In this case, when the payment was meant for a beneficiary in Sri Lanka, the intermediary bank was Deutsche Bank because Sri Lanka has an agreement with Deutsche Bank for their dollar transactions. So this is how, in principle, it works functionally. Now let's see how technically this Swift link works. So this is the Swift system. So if you look at the Swift system, the transaction is recorded in a core banking system. So the transaction is fed into core banking using a channel or maybe from the front end, and the message is generated by the system and sent into something known as an alliance access software. Now, technically, you can actually do the transaction directly in Alliance instead of doing it through the bank's core banking system. So after it comes to Alliance access, it goes to Swift gateway. The Swift gateway then sends it over a secure network of Swift Alliance and it goes to the Swift gateway of the US Fed. And from there, if they have an STP or a straight through processing, the transaction gets initiated or created in the US Fed's core banking system and further actions happen. So as you can see, this is a completely secure system. The network is completely encrypted. You can't even get inside. Of course, if you have access to either the core banking or the Swift Alliance, you can actually tamper with the message. And that's what the hacksters did. They actually got access into this alliance system, not the core banking, but the alliance system, and they tampered with the message. We'll get into further details as to how they tampered, how they got access, but more of it later. So this is an example of a Swift MT103, a payment message. If you look at the payment message, you will come to show that the amount is here in field 32A. This is the amount which they want to transfer. And you will have field 59 wherein it will tell you what's the beneficiary account. So what the hackers did is they took a genuine message, an empty message, and they just had to tamper the payment amount and the beneficiary amount. So if already there was a payment for a Sri Lankan bank, they can just take the message, add some zeros to the instructed amount, and change the beneficiary account in field 59 to an account of their accomplice in that bank. So that's what they did. Obviously, a lot of questions remain. Why Bangladesh Bank was chosen? Why Thursday? And why the 4th of Feb? Why the beneficiary accounts were in Philippines and Sri Lanka? Why were they chosen? Why not any other country? And most importantly, how did the hackers gain access to the Swift server? So all of that in the next episode, wherein we go into the details of the plan. Thank you.